Hi, Sirhan here in my garage with my 2003 Porsche Cayenne Turbo behind me. So a couple of weeks ago, I've noticed that the engine would start vibrating when I started giving gas. It would like vibrate, it would like misfire, loss of power, and it comes to a point where you can hardly drive the vehicle. You give it gas, it just doesn't want to move. I mean, it'll get me to point A and B, but it just drives really hard. It's rough idle, there's no power, vibration. It feels like there's a massive misfire. Okay, so I took it to the dealership. They run these codes. There was 12 codes, so all the engine cylinders misfire. There was a crankshaft sensor default, and a few other sensor defaults as well. And their recommendation was to me was to replace the ECM. It's about $3,500 plus $500 to program. I'm looking at $4,000, and they said they're not even sure if this is the problem, but they said most likely computer's gone bad. It's not able to communicate with the engine. That's why you're getting all these misfires. So what I'm doing today is remove the spark plugs. I figured I'll just start with that. Check the coils, check the spark plugs. Now what I'm thinking might happen that could explain the issues that I'm facing with my vehicle is that there might be a leak of oil into the spark plug gaskets, because I feel like it's something to do with the coils or the spark plugs. Like, you know that feeling, you know when your spark plug's gone bad, like you give it gas and the engine's like vibrating, it's misfiring. It goes, the car's moving, but it's just not running smoothly as it should be, and that's what I'm facing. So so I'm going to start with the spark plugs because I really don't want to put in $4,000. So okay, enough talking, so let's get right to it. So the first thing you need to do is remove the engine covers. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off that job by removing these ones here. And the screw to remove the washer fluid filler cap is a T25. Okay, next thing we need to do is remove both of the air pumps, and those are held on by a T25. Sorry, not a T25. Those are a T40. So there's 3 screws on both sides. Okay, so once you remove those 3 screws on your air pump, you can go ahead, pull it out. Remove the air hose on the bottom and the clip in the back. Okay, so after you remove both of the air pumps, next thing to do is remove these engine covers, and they're held in by 4 screws, T27. So go ahead and remove those. Okay, just go ahead and pop these off. Okay, now moving on to the passenger side. This side is going to be a little bit more difficult than the driver's side because we have this piece here, this torque arm to remove. And the way to remove it, you have a triple square, 12 millimeter on the front, and on the back it's a 16 millimeter. Okay, so in order to remove the passenger side cover, you need to do one other thing. You need to remove this bracket right here. This bracket right here, that's next to the filler neck for the washer fluid. You need to remove that. It looks like it's held in by 2 bolts, and that should give me access to lift up the torque arm so that I can get this piece out. So this is the part that you need to remove, and it's held in by 2 screws, and the socket that you need is a 10 millimeter. Okay, now you can go ahead and remove this torque arm completely. It's held in by another 16 millimeter bolt on the back side. Okay, go ahead and pull up that screw, and this torque arm should come right out. There we go. Okay, we can go ahead and remove this mounting plate for our torque arm, and that's held in by an E12 screw, and there's 4 of them. Alright, so just go ahead, disconnect the coil plug. Okay, so before you go ahead and remove this mounting bracket, you got to remove this screw which holds down this wire, and that's held in by a 5mm socket. So remove that. So this wire can come out of the way. We've already removed the coil plug, so this should just come right out. There we go. Okay, we can go ahead and disconnect these plugs, coil plugs. All you gotta do is pull down on this tab and pull up. Okay, now we can go ahead and remove the coil packs, and all you need is an E12 socket. Okay, so once you remove those retaining nuts, you can just twist and pull and remove the coil packs. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start removing the spark plugs. Now you need a 5/8 spark plug socket for this task. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm actually really curious to know what the spark plugs look like, because I personally haven't changed it before on this vehicle. There we go. Oh, look at that, look. See that? Oil. Wow, okay, that's what I was kind of expecting. That could kind of explain all the misfiring. And like I've said, the first 20 minutes of driving, the engine, it's fine. It runs beautifully. No hesitation. You give it gas, thing flies. After about 20 minutes, things start to change. It starts misfiring. I give it gas, engine vibrates, you know, and this always happened consistently after 20 minutes. So I'm thinking, after a certain amount of time, that oil is starting to drip into the spark plug holes, and that's causing my misfire. And it's not the computer, which the dealers thought it would be. Okay, so I'm really excited about this actually, because to repair oil, if you got oil in your spark plug hole, generally it's an easy fix. You just have to replace the gasket on your valve covers. So that's likely the next. I wasn't planning to do that, but I guess that's what I need to do if I have oil going to my spark plug sockets. Okay, so let's check out the other. Okay, pulling the plug on the second one. So this is the second plug. This one's fairly dry. This one's, there is some oil. You can see there's oil. Yeah, there is definitely oil in there, which shouldn't be. It's not as much as that first cylinder that we pulled out, but you don't want any oil in there for obvious reasons. I mean, not only are you gonna have a misfire, but think of the safety hazard. You know, that's how you can have a fire starting. You know, think about it. You got a spark, and you've got a fuel source. You got your oil. All right. So, okay, let's check this one out. I mean, it feels dry, but I can see oil in between the threads. So this one's got oil too. Okay, moving my way onto the passenger side. Let's see what these spark plugs look like. Whoa, that is not good. Look at that. There's oil everywhere, look. That one has quite a bit of oil. That is no good. oil again. There's oil in every single spark plug socket. So that to me is the source of my problems. It's not the ECU. Thanks, Porsche. Alright. Okay, that's actually good news because... Okay, so I've removed all 8 spark plugs and every single one of them had traces of oil. Some had quite a bit, some had a little bit of oil, but you don't want any oil whatsoever. You want it to be bone dry. Okay, so that explains the misfires that I've been having in my engine. Nothing to do with the ECM as the dealership thought. Okay, so that's good. So I'm imagining relatively easy fix. I got to remove the valve covers and replace the gaskets. So that will be my next video. So stay tuned. I'll go through the process step by step how that's done. I've never done it on a Porsche, but I don't know. I think it should be pretty straightforward. So all in all, I'm actually kind of glad that it turned out just oil and spark plug sockets. Because if it was something else wrong, like if it was the computer that needed replacing, you know, that would have cost thousands of dollars. Okay, so thanks guys. Again, I'm Sirhan's Garage. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys next time. Okay, thanks guys. Okay, bye.